Call to order the meeting of the Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission for Monday, March 9th, 2026. First order of business is approval of minutes from the February 9th, 2026
Make a
meeting.
motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Milborn, second by Mr. Walker. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0. Any special requests or continuances? No. Okay. No findings of fact. I see no old business. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none. New business is item A, order of demolition for 1207 Dusty Trail, presented by Greenwood City Building Commissioner Ken Seal to request the demolition of the affected accessory structure at the property identified as 1207 Dusty Trail.
One clarification on that. This is my mistake. It is the accessory structure and the primary structure. So in the order it is for the structures, plural.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. And then all those that are going to be wishing to speak on this matter will need to stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission staff. It's great to see you guys again. As always, I wish under different circumstances. So today, as corrected by Mr. Gabe, we are here to discuss the order of demolition for 1207 Dusty Trail, the primary and accessory residence. Each of you have been provided a copy. I trust you have of the order. The order is labeled as Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 is a series of photos taken on 12 December 2022, which we'll get into in just a moment. Exhibit number 3 of your packet is CityWorks comment and flow. That's how we track the progress of our work in our software. Exhibit 4 being a series of current photos. Exhibit 5 being a overall aerial, and 6 being the owner and property data. So we'll start at the beginning. The owner of 1207, Mr. Lou or Louis Buckles, obtained a building permit to do a remodel and a addition. This was back in 2020. Sorry, it was applied for and obtained in late 2019. I was not present at the time, nor was I building commissioner at that time. The issuing party was Lowell Weber, okay? And the permit was issued and work began on the property. Okay? Within a short time, and I'm not sure exactly when that progress stopped because the notes are few. We do try to now keep them more updated, more accurately. But there was a significant gap where no work had taken place. During this time frame, here in Indiana, across the U.S., we were dealing with COVID, right? So there were a lot of circumstances that were understood, especially in the building community. Materials were hard to get, labor was hard to obtain, everything slowed down, right? And I think we can all agree. So with that, there was also some circumstances made, right, or some exceptions made, if you will. One of those being some of the problems that Lewis ran into with the property, causing delays in some of these other things. He later came in my office because the permit had reached the end of its life. But the permits at the time were good for a period of 3 years. Okay, and so because of the COVID situation and a number of other factors, which I'm sure he'll likely explain to you, the work wasn't completed. We came to agreement on how we're going to move forward with the property, and we reissued a new permit. Work did begin shortly after that. We did perform a couple more inspections, and for a couple of months, it seemed a little promising that the project was going to move forward. However, it very quickly halted, and while some communication maintained between Lewis and myself in my office, the progress had stopped. The structure does remain boarded up. He has been able to maintain that, as well as the grass on the property, despite code enforcement having to get involved. However, after a property sits and just dilapidates due to the weather and some of these other things, they're eligible to meet a lot of the criteria of the city of Greenwood and the state of Indiana's safe building law. Some of those are, I'll read from section 7-30. Whenever any portion thereof has been damaged by fire, earthquake, wind, flood, or by any other case, to such an extent the structural strength or stability therefore is materially less than before such catastrophe, and less than the minimum requirements for new buildings of similar structures. Part of that is, as we look through some of the photos here in a moment in the exhibits, you'll see that the OSB board or the sheathing is greatly compromised. Okay? Manufacturers, in fact, all of them across the board, with the exception to the SIG system, okay, that's a special coating or layer to the OSB material, allows for a 90-day exposure time. So we're working on 6 years. Okay. When the OSB becomes saturated with moisture, it deteriorates, begins to break down, it becomes much weaker. Okay, so the nails don't have strength anymore. And while the building does still stand, one would argue that it's greatly reduced in strength. Portions of the roof have been blown away or damaged by wind, which we'll see in some of the photos. Whenever a building or structure exclusive of the foundation shows 33% or more damage, deterioration of its supporting members or 50% damage or deteriorations of its non-supporting members, enclosing the outside walls or coverings. Okay, so that's clearly fitting in the property that we're talking about. And then, of course, it exists or has been maintained in violation for many years. So what we have is we have a property that has been exposed to the elements. It has been, quite frankly, an eyesore to the neighborhood. We get regular complaints on it. The home, what would be to the west of it, sold about 2 years ago, 18 months ago, maybe 2 years. And it sat on the market for a rather long time. I did not have the opportunity to speak to the sellers or the new buyers and interview them, but I can only imagine that being next to a property in this condition could affect either the timeliness or, the amount of the sale price. So when we allow properties to become blighted like this in our neighborhoods, there's a number of effects. While it is a nuisance, I don't know that it's attractive in nature to those that would look to cause significant harm or damage. He has done a good job of keeping it boarded up. If we turn to Exhibit 2, you'll see that these are the photos taken on 12 December 2022. This is right shortly after the permit expired. The permit was issued on 19 November 2019. So this is very shortly after the original permit expired, and document the case to see which direction I wanted to move forward. As you can see, there are no shingles on the house, no siding, excuse me, and the rear of the primary residence and the side of the accessory structure were open to the weather. It was in that condition for approximately 2 years after work had stopped on the property. Exhibit 2 continued is again just a couple more photos of the property there. Exhibit number 3 has the comments in our SeaWorks software where we typically document conversations or events. So you can see there a couple of conversations where we spoke to Lou, where he came to the office in June 21, 2023 to fill out a new application. And then again, after speaking with Lou, understanding his circumstances at the time and hoping to find resolution with the property, I did issue him a permit. Exhibit number 4, is photos as recent as 2/23/2026. This shows the posting of the order of demolition, which was in the first 3 pages of this packet. It shows the current condition, and while there is a roof or shingles, I should say, on the building, you can see the bridge cap has been blown away. Parts of it remain, and quite simply, it's a quick job done to satisfy some of my requests. There was a period where I had a lengthy conversation with him and encouraged him that, if he could get it to look like a house, he can continue to take as long as he needs to work on the inside and rehab it the way that he needs or wants to. But if we could get some windows or some siding or a roof on it, A, it's going to protect it, and B, it's going to look like a house, at least while it's being, rehabbed, stop the complaints and satisfy some of the city's requirements. So the roof on the front half was an attempt to satisfy that request. The photos go on to show the side and back. As you can see, there was progress made with the foundation and slab poured. However, there are concerns with the corner of the slab where it meets the existing block foundation, CME block foundation. It appears to be significantly cracked and kind of deteriorated in that area. It's something that may just need repair, but otherwise certified by an engineer if it's not demolished. Again, we have photos showing that it remains open. While it's boarded up, it still remains open to the moisture along all the weather events, these types of things. Exhibit 5, again, just the overall aerial, so you can see the significant size of the property. And Exhibit 6, outlining Mr. Buckles as the owner, along with the legal property data. There are, to my knowledge, 3 interested parties. Louis Buckles, the owner. I learned through this process that he recently completed his divorce with his wife. His wife has a court order having some percentage of the property or interest in the property. And because their divorce is now finalized, they have listed the property and they have a potential buyer under contract, again, being an interested party. So there are 3, I don't know if Mrs. Buckles is here, but I do know that Louis is, and pending any questions right now, I would invite Mr. Buckles.
We'll hear from Mr. Buckles next, and then we'll move to.
Good evening, my name is Louis Buckles. I'm a property owner at 1207 Dusty Trail. This whole thing has turned into a fiasco. I apologize to the city of Greenwood, the building inspectors. They've been very understanding. Started out, I hired a contractor, Bob Bell. He started on the construction. He dug a foundation hole, he did some work. He said he needed an additional $70,000 to continue to work. I gave him the $70,000. He took off with the $70,000. Never been seen or heard from again. Talked to multiple attorneys. They said, all you're gonna do is lose more money if you hire attorneys because it'll go to court. You'll win. If he shows up, they'll declare bankruptcy. Odds are he won't show up. So then I was left $70,000 in the hole. I don't know about y'all, but $70,000 is a lot of money for me. COVID happened. COVID got done. As the building inspector said, or commissioner, excuse me, said, I went in, got a new permit issued. I got the foundation poured. I got the new roof on to help with it. Then I got in the process of a divorce, which took way longer than planned for. The wife dragged it out. She refused to sign the paperwork. It finally became final about a month ago. And up until that point, because of the divorce, I could do nothing with the house. It was locked up in the divorce. I couldn't sell it. I couldn't do any construction on it. My hands were tied. Since then, Mr. Clark here is my realtor, and the gentleman next to him is the buyer of the property. And I invite both of them to come up and speak and let you know what they have planned to do. You all have any questions for me?
We're gonna hear your side, all your side, and then we're gonna.
That's fine. I just let you know.
Sure, thank you. If we could get your name and address.
Of course, yeah. Clark Ream, R-E-H-M-E. I'm a real estate broker. My address is 8316 Coral Bay Court, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46236. First of all, I want to thank you all for taking the time to hear us out this evening. Second of all, I want to personally thank Mr. Seal. He's been extremely receptive and responsive to any questions and the comments we've had. So as someone who deals quite a bit with these properties, he truly is one of the better public servants I've dealt with. So I want to go ahead and make sure that I thank him. I want to go ahead and, like I said, this is kind of an area that I specialize in, dealing with private properties. That's actually how I know Mr. Tony, the buyer. I have been trying to get this property listed probably since, I would say, late summer, early fall of last year. Like Mr. Buckle said, this has been wrapped up in divorce proceedings. Finally, we had Miss Buckles, the former Miss Buckles, I will say, signed the divorce decree just within the last, I'd say, probably 3 to 4 weeks. I was then able to go ahead and get a listing contract. And once again, not blaming anybody for this, but with a demo on it, it's very tough to get anyone interested in the property. I have worked with Mr. Tony numerous times. I think we've had maybe 5 to 6, maybe 10 deals together. So he is an individual that I know can do this work. He's done a great job. We've never been this far south before, mainly in Indianapolis, but he's always done a great job. Just to go over the highlights of this, we're hoping to close this week. We have an accepted purchase agreement. We are working right now with Enterprise Title. If anyone wants to see it too, I'm sorry I did not bring enough copies. I only have 3 copies of the purchase agreement. If the board would like to see that, I can go ahead and bring that up to you guys. So, I'm a recovering attorney, so may I approach?
Yeah, and we can share one copy ultimately.
Put in the record.
Yeah. So there you are. And as well, I'd also like to say that Mr. Tony is serious. He does have, we just got this finalized, we just got this accepted yesterday. He has already gone ahead and tendered the cashier's check for the earnest money. It's $500, and has already been accepted by Enterprise Title. He hand delivered that this morning, so this is the only copy. Is that acceptable?
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and approach if I could. There we are.
Thank you.
But the exact kind of things that Mr. Steele was discussing, this being a blighted property, not having windows, this being a nuisance to the property, this is exactly the kind of things that Mr. Tony fixes. And I guess my thing would be, I understand that Greenwood takes a lot of pride in how they look because it's a great community. I would just hope that we could stay this demo perhaps 90, 100 days and allow Mr. Tony the opportunity to take care of this property. He is arguably one of the best investors I deal with, if not the best. And I think you guys will be very happy with what he's done. He already has skin in the game, as evidenced by his earnest money deposit. He already has employed a structural engineer. He has been out to the property multiple times. He has already paid the structural engineer.
We have construction.
Yeah. So, like I said, he is serious and he is ready to go. We have talked to each other multiple times this weekend. Much of this may have my girlfriend and my daughter, so at all hours. So, if I could, I would go ahead and turn it, unless there are any questions for me.
We're gonna,
That's fine.
commission will have it.
But yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Tony, tell you a little bit what he's done specifically.
Thank you. My name is Mo Toomey. I'm the owner of Floodwick Property. And it's my address is 12354 Gasket, Charming, Indiana, 46032. We have multiple property around the city, in Carmel, Indianapolis, mainly. And when I looked at this property, it's really, the neighborhood is beautiful. It's really nice, and it's a shame that it's unfortunately conditions and stuff that property is in that shape. And we as a business person, I've seen an opportunity, honestly, that we can make it beautiful for the neighborhood and for our business as well. So I already have a team that coming in tomorrow to check the property, let you know. I have a structural engineer. His name is Chris Badger. And all of these, they're going to be working together on assessing the situation and get us both moving forward. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chan.
Thank you.
Is there anyone? All right, with that, I'll open it to the members of the commission to ask questions.
I don't technically have questions for either the two people that presented or the people that presented, but does everything look legit from your perspective, from what you can see that they've handed to you as far as the check and?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got the watermark you can almost see, and it does appear to be a copy, yeah, that's signed.
Purchase
Agreement, yes.
So, I mean, I emphasize with the situation that the homeowner went through. I think that's just, you know, a terrible situation, but given that there's a buyer and a realtor here and the accepted purchase agreement, I think it would behoove us as a city to encourage the sale, but with very specific timeline. None of this 2019 6-year-long stuff can happen. Very specific and outlined details for closing. I mean, I don't know how detailed we can get as a commission, but I'd like to see this go through before demolishing the property. It is a great neighborhood. I do know that area well. I photograph a lot of those houses in there.
Mr. Walker.
I was just gonna ask Mr. Seal, I mean, wouldn't mind answering a question or two.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
I mean, you're aware of the situation that was just presented, and if you are, is there some kind of timeline you've been presented that makes you feel comfortable with right now?
Yes, Mr. Walker. So this information I've learned over the last 2 weeks, okay? This property has been legally permitted up until the 21st of February, which was a Saturday. And so this was a property that's been on my calendar for 2 years. I think 2 years ago, I made the calendar thing. The day the permit expired, I was going to move forward. After officially making service of these documents, having a conversation with Mr. Buckles and Mr. Bream and Mrs. Buckles, I did learn all of this. I did go on to my case. I did verify the dates of the divorce decree and these types of things. I will also say that it's the goal of my office to find resolution with these blighted properties, okay? The order of demolition and this notice of hearing, bringing everybody together is part of that, right?
Yeah.
That's a tool that I have in my toolbox. It's been effective, but I think we know in the past. And if we're able to find resolution a different way, that is something that I would support. I'm the building commissioner, as I've said, not the decommissioner, so I have to be at times. We'll also say that this is the prime reason, this property is the prime reason why last year we got our permits reduced from 3 years down to 1 year. And we've added text in our municipal code specific to when, to what timeline work must begin, okay, which is 45 days. And then additionally, if there are any periods of inactivity, 90 days or more, we can revoke the permit and then move directly back into a situation like we're here today. So we do already have some pretty significant improvements to our municipal code to prevent properties like this happening.
You haven't seen any plans and another request for permit to keep this building up and get it repaired to your
Not yet.
satisfaction?
No, sir, no, Mr. Walker, again, this is all just developed in the last few days.
My question for the owner and the would-be buyer is the buyer still in due diligence where you could terminate this agreement if things don't go well in the next couple of days?
Can I come on, sir? Would that be all right?
Sure.
Thank you. Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Does the buyer still have due diligence opportunities to terminate this agreement and walk if the inspections are?
He does, sir, but I will point out that part of the negotiations were, Mr. Tomey said, I'm willing to take the risk for this price that he put down. And that was his exact point. I mean, is that fair to say,
Yes,
Mr. Tomey? That he said, look,
He knows what he's getting.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact is, when we started these negotiations, we were quite far apart. And part of the reason that he had the figure that he came up with, the figure that you see on the purchase agreement in front of you, was because he said, look, to be frank, I'm here to play.
Right.
So even if this demolition order goes through, he plans on going forward. I do want to point out too, it is our hope, knock on wood, to actually close this week. Now, that is up to the title company, not us, unfortunately. So, the March 20th date on there for closing, that is the latest date, not the earliest date. I do want to point that out.
Okay, thank you.
So, and also the title company, if I can toot my own horn a little bit, I've been pretty proud of myself for getting them everything they need. So we're pretty much ready to go.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any other members? Mr. Sale, if we said, you know, you've got 90 days, would you be comfortable with us giving a little bit of room for them to close this out to see what happens, or are we at the point where we need to?
Well, I have a question for clarification. Mr. Tomey, is your plan to demolish it and rebuild, or are you actually
Yeah.
trying to rehabilitate the house?
no, we would like to take the house.
Okay, because your order is for demolition, so that's what you have to work on, whether you're gonna affirm that, or rescind that, or modify that.
Right, Mr. King, to answer your question, I would be open to a modification of the order. Of course, you do have the ability to cancel the order, okay, in its entirety. Modification to the order might look like, a set period in the future to obtain all the appropriate approvals and building permits. A set date in the future, the next milestone when work will commence or begin, sorry. And then from there, of course, the Greenwood Municipal Code can govern that permit and dates it, if you will, with those timelines that I've put into place. And then we would have legal enforcement through that avenue as well. Again, I like to see resolution. That's what we're here for. And if we could find that resolution with a hammer instead of a wrecking ball, I think that could be good for the city. But we would have to have something with deed involved, so that we have that enforcement mechanism if it does happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should just blanket say, sorry, you've had your chance, knock it down. But I don't think we should just say, well, you tell us there's a deal and then, yeah, I think if we should say, we like what we hear, but we need to see progress by, set parameters like Mr. Smith said. Because
Is the process just approving or like requesting a modification of the order?
Yes, what you would do, you could,
With like,
you modify the order. You know, I've told you what your options are. Your options are to affirm it, rescind it, or you can modify it, right? Those appear to be present who have an interest. We don't know. We think the wife's interest has been terminated. And it appears that you want to modify it to provide, instead of demolition, a specific date for obtaining all the permits and approvals, and then a specific date by which the work must begin. And 3, the work must diligently proceed in accordance with the timelines of the municipal code. Does that sound correct?
That sounds, yeah. So basically, we kind of we would set 2 dates. That third one she mentioned is really the municipal code's gonna take over from there and let legal and Mr. Seal, if they're not compliant. then the
Mr.
municipal
Seal
code.
has originally said that he wanted them to get the demolition permit. What was the timeline for that?
Would it be possible to continue to the next meeting?
Within 15 days of the hearing,
Days of the hearing.
and the property shall be demolished within 45. So if we did a modify, we would be modifying getting the permit and the
Approvals, what would be a reasonable period, do you think, for obtaining the permits and approvals to begin the rehabilitation?
30 days after the close of the sale? That seems reasonable to me, especially if they anticipate March 20th or sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta go at least 30 days, because anyone who's been through a title experience knows that that's.
Do we need to put a deadline on the closing date then, so that if it fails to close, we need to have a deadline for closing too?
So 1 month from today would be April 9th, and then 30 days after that for securing the permits is what I propose. That may be a little
What is it,
lax.
did you say March 20th is the latest date for closing and by contract?
As of now, yes.
Okay, he has a contract that says the latest date for closing is March 20th, so within 30 days of
March 20th.
March 20th, which is the anticipated close date.
That's a good way to do that, is that.
I was giving a little bit more leeway because I know things happen at closing, so.
So maybe April 20th.
So 30 days, I'm sorry, 30 days to submit or
To obtain.
That's gonna
Within
depend on
30
the
days
city.
after closing to obtain your permits and approvals to go forward with the rehabilitation work.
So the 30 days would start whatever the closing date is.
But that depends on the city. If we say, I need to submit by 30 days, within 30 days, that would make sense a little bit to me. But if I say 30 days to approve, to obtain means,
I hear your concern. Mr. Seal, how long does it usually take once the process is started for obtaining?
If the gentleman puts forth the completed application and a set of plans that are compliant both with state adopted building codes and architectural standards through chapter 10 of the GO, we typically have that building permit issued in 3 to 7 days.
Seems to me you have to put together plans and specs that it might take the 30 days for the new owner to complete the application. So it seems like our 30-day deadline ought to be for a completed application to be filed with the city.
Yeah, I agree. So, so in that case, if you closed on March 20th, we're just gonna use that just because that's a date we know. You'd have 30 days is what we're saying to have your application submitted, not the permit obtained.
okay, yes.
I think
fine.
that's reasonable.
We can do that.
That way we have a measurable date to say your first step is that application. And so that's in there.
Demolition is the easiest thing. What we probably ask it is a little bit of, for us, time and stuff to turn it around. But you can order demolition anytime, and that's, I think it's a loss to the city because of the taxes and stuff.
I think what the commission's trying to do is trying to find a way to avoid that.
Okay.
So that way, I guess the best way to put that is there's something to work with. Your idea of what you wanted to work with is there. We're just saying if we can avoid demolition, great. But if we can't, here's where demolition has to occur. That's kind of the route we're looking. Because
So with a little bit of time to kind of help me out because on these things is you have to have blueprints, you have to have a lot of things to submit even to the city and just make sure everything is proper. And it's in 7 days. I mean, if I provide everything correctly, 100%, you're talking about 7 days.
Well, what we're saying is that there's a potential proposal that the order would be modified that 30 days from the date you close on the property, you would just need to have your application for the permit submitted. So it's not then, because there is that window that the building commissioner's office has to review and approve. It's we're seeing you've taken the steps you need to do by applying. So we're measuring it by, you're showing us you want to rehabilitate this.
I think also the city's saying that Mr. Seal shouldn't have to chase you to get that done.
Yeah.
Really quick for future, if there's conversations or questions, if we could just use the microphone up here by Ken Seal. Just as far as the audio picking it up for the video that's on YouTube and also for our recording secretary, it is very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So I think the proposal we're hearing is a good one, that 30 days from date of closing, he needs to apply for a building permit. If he doesn't, order of demolition will take over. That goes its normal course, is I think the best way to put that.
Should we say 30 days from the date of closing or not later than April 20th?
No later than perhaps.
Because if they don't close, then we were stuck.
Mhm.
Yeah, no later.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying, yeah,
Closing isn't until December, it's a different story for all.
if you want to approach it.
Yeah. Would you guys like, who would you like me to give notice to when closing occurs? How would you like me to give that notice
Probably
to?
The building commissioner,
Okay,
because then he would have to enforce it.
gotcha.
So I think that's the first step, and then the other part of that was I think we want to see, what was it, reasonable progress, I think.
Well, when he has to submit, and it depends on when he gets his permit, 3 to 7 days, there was a date by which work to begin. I think Ken suggested that there should be, after issuance of the permit, work should begin. Is that what you meant? Following issuance of the permit, work should begin within?
Yes, ma'am, but the Greenwood Municipal Code does define that in chapter 7. It does provide that timeline. I don't know that we need to consider making that timeline stricter.
Okay.
So that permit, that's in the permit period,
That's in
like
the
They'll
permit.
be on the clock by virtue of
the
existing.
permit getting,
Yes,
Oh,
once the
yes.
permit is issued, they will have 45 days to begin work. If at any period during the course of the permit, 90 days or more without progress, any of those can trigger the revocation of the permit. Once the permit is revoked, of course, we can move forward however we wish.
so it's a pretty simple modification. It's, you have 30 days from closing, not later than April 20th, to apply for the permit. If you do that, then the municipal code's gonna take
And you're
over.
going to diligently proceed to progress with the work in accordance with the Greenwood Municipal Code.
Yeah.
All right.
And that 45-day clock begins
Upon issue.
on the issuance of the permits.
The day of issuance for the permit, that's correct.
Okay.
So that's pretty
I
simple.
also assure you, I will make it a priority to issue this permit.
Okay, yeah. Well, but yeah, although I think Mr. Walker said it best, is we're setting this as so you don't have to do the chasing. It's their due diligence to get to you. So that's what I think we're looking to see. So I think we have a good proposal
I like it.
in place.
Well, do we have a motion then?
I think I can try it.
Okay. let's-
Mr. President, I move to modify the
Well,
order of
do you
demolition.
find that it's an unsafe building
Yes.
before you modify it?
Yeah. I don't think they're asking. I move to find that the house and accessory structure on the residential property commonly known as 1207 Dusty Trail, Greenwood, Indiana, is an unsafe building because of the reasons cited by City Commissioner, Building Commissioner Kenneth Steele, and that the order requiring Louis Buckles to demolish the unsafe building that was issued by the Building Commissioner Kenneth Steele on February 23rd be modified to allow for time for the pending sale of the property to close. The demolition order will be stayed, providing that the property closes on or before March 20th. Following closing, the new owner must submit for the necessary permits for a plan to begin securing and repairing the structure within 30 days. Following the issuance of the permit, the timeline must be dictated by the Greenwood Municipal Code. The work must be diligently done by the timelines of the municipal code. And if the sale does not close by that date, or if the required steps are not taken within the stated timeline, the original demolition order will automatically proceed without further delay. And to direct the city attorney to prepare findings of fact and order setting forth for the decision to modify the building commissioner's order. Said findings to specifically incorporate the evidence submitted into the record for adoption, and that at the next regularly scheduled commission.
We have a motion by Ms. Stambaugh. We have a second by Mr. Milborn. Any last thoughts, questions, comments? Milborn. All those in favor of the motion, please show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0, so that's the commission's.
Thank you. I'll send it to Becky.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go.
Make sure to get a copy of that finding.
Yeah, it will be issued once we adopt it. We will issue that. So I'll end up somebody, yes, that would be great.
If I can approach.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're kind of give them a minute to get organized in the back of the room, but yeah. Can we test is the audio working while we're?
Joe, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Fixed it.
Hey, Monty.
Yes.
Can you turn the volume in here up? Because we can barely hear him.
Turn Joe up.
We can't hear Joe.
You want me to talk loud?
Or loud? Yeah, we just need him louder.
Loud.
I think it's Joe. I think it's just the volume in here. So.
There. Not sure if that's gonna assist or not. Okay. Have to say something again.
Hey, Joe, can you try talking again?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
All right, next up is docket number PC 2026-006, Park 800 site plan waiver. Petitioner is Joseph Heck on behalf of the owner. They are requesting a landscape waiver from UDO section 10-03-06G. Mr. Heck, I'll let you.
Okay. Again, Joseph Heck with Projects Plus. Yeah, here on behalf of the Nahasho Realtor. They're for their site at Park 800 Industrial Subdivision, Lot 27. So the site that we're looking at is located off of, it's at the southeast corner of Stop 18 and US 31 off of Industrial Drive within that Park 800 subdivision. So this site, they're proposing a building expansion on the east side of the existing building. So with that expansion, we'll be requesting a variance for the foundation plantings of section 10-0306G, which with this expansion, since it's over the 20% rule, the entire site would have to be brought into compliance. And one of the items is the 15-foot foundation plantings. And with this site, the front building is remaining and the asphalt in front of that building we want to keep that because they use that for parking. And if we remove that 15 feet, that strip becomes unusable. So with that request is to keep the asphalt against the building that was previously approved and move the foundation plantings to the north side of that existing parking lot and just add the required shrubs and trees north of the existing lot. And then we would, that's the request here. And let's see. And do I need to read the attachment J or attachment P, or is that?
No, because we've got copies of it here.
Okay. So that's the request. It's a very simple request, just to relocate the plantings and to keep the foundation or to keep the asphalt in front of that building instead of having green space there.
All right. Any of the commissioners have any questions? Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Nelson.
Staff did recommend approval. What he's running into is this is a very old industrial park, industrial subdivision. A lot of the lots were not built in a way that fits our new standards. However, our unified development ordinance does require that the full site comes into compliance if it's over a 20% expansion. The building expansion is over 50%, but it's all happening in the rear. The front portion of the building may need to be dressed up a little bit, but the existing parking there, we see no reason to make them take out the parking for the foundation planting, and we are recommending that they be relocated elsewhere on site.
Okay, so any questions, comments, thoughts? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Concerning PC 2026-006, I move that the request of Nosenho Realty Holdings LLC for a waiver of the requirements of Unified Development Ordinance, Cleveland Municipal Code, Section 10-3-06 G foundation plantings that specify that commercial properties over 25,000 square feet shall have a minimum of 15-foot wide landscaping strip along the full length of the foundation facing street to permit relocation of the plantings required along the foundation of the subject building facing Industrial Drive to other areas of the site due to its site constraints because the existing building was not constructed within an area for foundation planting to be approved. And the planning commission find that the applicant has met the criteria set forth by the Greenwood Municipal Code, Section 10-4-3K for the waiver for the reasons set forth in its request for waiver and as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Walker. Do we have a second? So we have a second by Mr. Price. Any last thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0. Mr. Heck, you are good to go.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.
You're welcome. Next up, PC 2026-008, the Wurtsville zone map change. This will be a public hearing. There'll be 15 minutes for the petitioner and 15 minutes for anyone wishing to remonstrate or speak against. All those wishing to speak, please stand and be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give is true and accurate?
I do. Go ahead.
Good evening, Eric Prime, Big England Law Firm, 225 South Emerson, on behalf of petitioner Brian Holmes. So if this looks familiar, it's because we were here once before. This came to you a couple of months ago. It's a two parcels actually. They're located on the south side of Wurtsville Road, just east of Anderson Hauser, adjacent to the railroad tracks that run down through there. And Brian Holmes is proposing a zone map change from the current IM industrial zoning to RA residential. These will be 102 single-family detached homes offered in fee simple for sale. Lot design will conform to the RA standards, and they will incorporate the following changes from the version you saw before to the one you're seeing right now. One is A-cell, B-cell lanes at the subdivision entrances. Let's see those. Is there a way to get rid of the banner at the top of that? There we go. So A-cell, B-cell lanes on the two entrances from Worthsville. A multi-purpose trail that runs down the far left side. You can actually see the Duke Energy gravel driveway on just this side of the tracks, and then in between that and the retention pond, if you look, there is a trail that goes all the way from the north end to the south end and connects the north to trail system that's already running along Worthsville Road, but we will also connect east-west. Then buffering and landscaping for that area for the homes that are along that western border, that border along the railroad tracks and in Henderson Hauser, and then landscaping on the south. There's a Duke substation just to the south of this, and then to the south of that is a wrecking yard. So not super nice in terms of neighbors. So we'll do a good job with the buffering. A minimum of the 10% of the site will be used for side load garage units. That's a change from prior plan. And then up the banner, one more for me, thank you. Committing to a second ranch floor plan so that now 40% of what's being offered in there can be ranches, whereas before there was a pretty heavy concentration on just 2 stories. In looking at the site plan in front of you, the pink lots are all 3-car garage capable. Those are a new addition. And then the orange lots are all side load, and that's that commitment. So all the orange lots will be side load garages. Give you an idea of what.
Sometimes you have to touch the screen, and then you can.
Thank you. So these are some examples of homes that will be available in there. The Palladio and the Bramante are ranch floor plans, and then the Lehigh, Hudson, and Columbia are all 2-story, and any of these 5 could be 3-car garage. So any of them could be on those 3-car garage lots. And then the side load garage are the Palladio, the Hudson, and the Lehigh are all capable of having side load garages. So those will be the ones that will end up on those particular lots. Then staff had multiple suggested commitments, which we are 100% willing to get behind. The only caveat I have to give you is number 1, develop and comply with the applicable building design standards. We did obtain a small variance on 2 of these elevations of allowing a 3-foot bump out of the garage rather than the code's 2-foot requirement. So a change of 1 foot there. Other than that one caveat of saying that was already granted by the BCA. So other than that, we're willing to comply with all of these conditions, and staff has recommended approval. It did get a favorable recommendation from this body the last time through. So what has changed in the meantime is we kind of got hung up on commitment. And so we went back to the drawing board with staff. They were great to work with, and the client really did a good job of compromising and doing more in here than they were planning to do. So now there's a much broader range of home styles and price points that will be available.
All right. Anyone wishing to speak against?
Good evening, Commission members. I'm here to speak against. My name is Randy Good, and I live at 1157 Central Park Boulevard South in Ridgewood, Indiana, 46143, which is right down the road from where this proposed development is going to take place. I just wanted to come before you tonight, put my support behind this, and just have a few things that I would like to discuss. The owner of the property at that time was Mr. Bernick. Mr. Bernick and I have talked back and forth for the last couple of years. He's been trying to develop this plat of land for quite some time. He's had industrial proposals that have come before there. They just have never worked out. But in every instance, he's reached out to the community. And I don't mean that he just said, we're gonna do this. What I mean is he's brought drawings to us. He sat down with us, he's explained things. That speaks highly, in my book, someone with integrity and care for his neighbors, not just trying to make a profit. In every instance, I discussed with him the concerns that I had and others around this development have. Because if you look at where it sits, there are other subdivisions abutting to this. With those industrial developments, it's always a question of lighting, noise, pollution, and traffic. But in every instance, he was willing to sit down, listen, actually reconfigure where some of these buildings were starting and take it back to the people that were trying to develop. Unfortunately, they didn't come to fruition. But he kept at it. And late last year, he came to me with this. And he also brought in, after it came through the first time, he brought in Ryan Holmes. And again, it was time when we sat down, they discussed this with us, they showed us the initial layout, and everything looked great. From those that I have discussed this with, no one is opposed to this. It fits with what's in the area. It abuts to other developments that are there. And it actually fills a void that sits between the railroad track and Sheep Road along that Morswell Road corridor on the south side. It would be a nice addition to have there rather than some type of industrial development. Not that we're against those. We just didn't like them actually butting up against houses and causing disturbances to children who are going to school, or those of us who are aging out and maybe don't sleep like we used to. Again, speaking to those in the neighborhood, being a longtime advocate of projects down in that area, I just wanted to put my support behind this project for the rezone and eventually for the development. I've already emailed Gabe, has seen my email, and Mr. Campbell has also seen, so they know where I stand with this as well. But thank you.
I guess with that, there actually weren't any remonstrators, so apologies, Mr. Gooden. With that, I'll turn it over to staff.
Yeah, staff does provide a favorable recommendation, as we did last time we were before Plan Commission for a very similar project with Ryan Holmes. I think last time there was a lot of discussion about the specificity of the proposed commitments that planning staff had provided. And one of our commitments was pretty vague on the housing diversity. This is in a kind of a mixed residential area in our future land use map. What we've done is we've worked with Ryan Holmes on a few more specific commitments. So we had taken out the one more vague commitment and added the one about 10% minimum side load garage lots to add housing diversity to the neighborhood. And then we also worked with them to add that second ranch model, and they've agreed to incorporate that as a commitment to provide for 2 different ranch models. Now, of the 5 different models that you saw, Eric had mentioned during the BZA hearing, there are multiple elevations that go with each of those models. So it's not just the 5 elevations, it's the 5 models. Each of those has different elevations and garage options. But I think staff is, again, favorable, and we are comfortable with what is proposed by Ryan Holmes after our discussions. I think one of the big things that I've appreciated them doing is on a lot of the models, in order to meet our garage requirements, they have added full porches. So that's an element that we've been pushing for. And we've heard a lot of community feedback during the comprehensive plan, and people would like to have a full porch. So that is a type of house that I'm hopeful and excited to see with the Ryan Holmes products. I think there is more we can do for housing diversity. But with this petition here, I am giving a favorable recommendation.
All right.
I do have one question for you, Dave. Mr. Farmer mentioned the commitments that you recommended. Number one, perhaps you should add some sort of disclaiming or, that it's going to be in accordance with the UDO, except as specifically allowed by variance.
Yes, and I guess maybe this is an interpretation that we should specify more. The way I've always looked at it is that a variance is a quasi judicial board, and that the variance process is within our unified development ordinance. So I've always assumed that they're still complying with the ordinance if they receive a variance. But if there needs to be clarifying language, I think that would be helpful.
Petitioner more comfortable, we
Yep.
can add the language, add except as specifically allowed by variance.
And that variance was conditional on the successful rezone of this project, so it will not go into effect until and if the council accepts the zone map change.
Okay, with that, I will, Mr. Prime, anything you want to add?
Just briefly, I am on the record. My client and I both have conflicts with the upcoming, the next council meeting is on the 16th. And so we're going to request, and I'll formally request with the council president that we move to the April 6th. Which will be next week.
That can be arranged. We'll work with Mr. Campbell, the council president, and make sure that we have a sponsor lined up for that.
All right, with that, I will close the public hearing and open it to questions from the commission. I was gonna say the variance, just for clarity, the BZA heard the variance tonight. It deals with the garage bump out is changed a foot. And we looked at part of that is they're willing to do these full porches, so it's really kind of adding to the house. So they're really working diligently to meet our code, or at least the intent of our code.
So does that need to be put in our motion one way or another? Just, okay.
No. BZA has got it locked down.
Yeah, and it is, we did make it completely conditional on this rezone has to be completely successful, otherwise the variance goes away. The variance only applies to 3 of the two. I had it backwards. 2 of the 5 models we saw. The other 3 were already compliant. So that part's clean. Nobody, go ahead, Mr. Billmore.
I've got one question for the Ryan Holmes. And I didn't get the opportunity to review the layout as good as I wanted to, but anyway, has any thought been given, because there is a railroad track over there, putting in a fence along that railroad? I don't even know if that would be legally required to be back so far, but just a thought for
Yeah, Mr. Milburn, the problem is that we don't own the ground over to the tracks. There's a gravel driveway that Duke Energy owns. That's where they access their substation. So, I mean, I guess we could put a fence at the end of our property, but then there's still a big gap there. Yeah, probably wouldn't do much good.
We do have buffering requirements and a trail commitment or future land use map. So in addition to the Duke service road, that is actually a parcel, it's not an access easement, it's part of their parcel. There will be even further separation from like a residential home on that side.
thanks. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Well, with a rezone, I believe we need a reminder.
Yes, you do. You are to pay reasonable regard to the following criteria in making your recommendation. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, the current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood. And 5, responsible development and growth.
And with that, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that the petition for a zone map change to rezone approximately 30.287 acres of land located on the south side of Roosevelt Road, east of Mentor's Hauser, within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from IM industrial medium zone to RA residential attached single-family zone as set forth therein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented with the following commitments. Number 1, the development should comply with all applicable building design, landscaping, buffering, and subdivision standards outlined in the UDO, except as specifically allowed by variance. 2, a landscaping inventory shall be completed for the east property. All healthy, non-invasive trees identified in the inventory shall be preserved. Number 3, the development shall incorporate a minimum 10% side-loaded garage lots to add to the housing diversity in the neighborhood. Number 4, the development shall incorporate 2 branch tunnels. Number 5, common open space, stormwater detention areas, and multi-use trails shall be located along the industrial edge to provide additional separation and buffering for the adjacent industrial uses. Number 6, the development shall provide vehicular and/or pedestrian connections to the adjacent undeveloped parcels through the public right-of-way or access easements as determined appropriate by the TRC. Number 7, all infrastructure improvements shall be designed and constructed in accordance with the TRC requirements and city standards. And number 8, trails shall be designed and constructed in accordance with the Greenwood Future Trail Network Map and applicable trail standards in the comprehensive plan and UDO.
We have a motion by Ms. Stanball and a second by Mr. Milborn. Any last thoughts, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 8-0. All right. Any new business from the floor? Seeing none, any announcements?
Yes, I have one announcement. Just to mark your calendar, we have a combined PCA and Plan Commission training session on March 30th. We'll have some updates and an activity around our Unified Development Ordinance update that we'd love for you guys to be a part of. And also, if you have any questions about specific topics, rules of procedure, Plan Commission, feel free to email me. I can try to compile those questions. Chances are, if you have a question, other people have to do, and it would be a good time for us to go over those questions. So I can do those for everyone. So just ahead of that meeting, email me if there's anything you would like us to cover. And that is at 6 p.m. So it is a little earlier than you guys are used to showing up. But a few of you are here at 6 p.m. for BZA. So we'll be combined with them. That's it.
All right. With that, I think we've got one final motion. Move to adjourn at 8:13.
Yeah.